Good evening, friends. God bless you. Um, I want to start with some questions today. The question I wanted to ask, that first question is, will Jesus, God, will come to you if you invite? You might say yes. Um, Let me ask you second question. Will Jesus come to you if you invite him, even if you don't know him, or even if you are not following him? And then you might be, say maybe. And let me ask you third question. What if your motive is wrong? If your intention is not right, your heart is not right. Will God come? Will Jesus come to you if you invite him? And you might say, or somebody would say, no, I don't think so. You might be surprised that this all questions could be answered yes. Jesus will come if you invite. Jesus will come even if you don't know him, but if you invite. Jesus will come even if your motive or your intention is wrong or not right. Let me read from Luke chapter 14, verse 4 to 5. From 1 to 5, sorry. Luke 14, 1 to 5. One Sabbath, when Jesus went to eat in the house of prominent Pharisees, he was being carefully watched. There, in front of him, was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not? But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked them, if one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out? And they had nothing to say. To understand this whole situation, we need to focus, we have to dissect the story. First of all, Jesus was invited. And invited to whose house? A Pharisee's house. And this Pharisee was not an ordinary Pharisee. He was a prominent Pharisee. Now, if you know that who the Pharisees are, then you will realize the Pharisees are the people who are very strict in observing laws, sometimes very literally. And they observe the law very carefully. And one of the traditions they were observing here called Sabbath. And in some of the translations it says that Jesus went to eat, and some translations say Jesus went to eat bread. But he went to eat on Sabbath. So normally on a Sabbath, the host will hold 2 loaves of bread. And the way they hold it, you have to have all 10 fingers should touch the loaf. 2 loaves of bread. Why 2? Because the breaking bread on Sabbath day, it's a reminder of the wilderness. When Israelites were wandering in wilderness, God provided them the manna, the heavenly bread. And on the 6th day, a day before Sabbath, they always get the double portion. And on a Sabbath day, nothing comes, no manna fall from the sky. But they got the double portion the day before Sabbath. To remember that, they used the 2 loaves of bread. That is a double portion. So here, they are observing the breaking bread on a Sabbath day. They did not realize that Jesus, who is a living bread, sitting right in front of them. They did not realize that Jesus, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, first 4 verse, Jesus, rock, walked with them for 40 years in a wilderness. And he was the source of their provisions. He provided them everything they needed in the wilderness. Is it not same thing with you and me? We start breathing. We are born in this earth. Our hearts start beating. Our blood started pumping in our veins. Our lungs started pumping air. And then we have started breathing. And from very first breath to the last breath, you are in hands of God. He provides every day what you need. The air that you need to breathe, the food that you want to eat, the sunshine, the light, the wind. You did not ask for any one of them, but they all are provided to you free of charge and by generous God, so you can live. And He provided everything every day. When you wake up in the morning, your eyes open and you see the light. Did you realize that it was God who was watching over you over in the night? And He wake you up in the morning. Jesus, the living bread, was sitting in front of them. They did not recognize Him. Not only that, the Pharisees were watching carefully. Why they were watching carefully? What was there? It says that, verse 2, there in front of him was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. That was a sick man. So sick man did not come accidentally. He was planted there. They set up a trap. Because it is a Sabbath, and a Pharisee knows the laws very, very carefully. Nicodemus was Pharisee, and that's why Jesus says that you, being a Pharisee, a teacher of the law, you don't know that man should born again. So these Pharisees are very, very knowledgeable in the laws. You should not work. There was a law on a Sabbath day. So they planted this sick man in front of Jesus. It was a trap, and they are carefully watching Jesus. They break the bread. Did they give the bread to this sick man who is in front of them? They did not share their bread with him. Friends, you and me will be feeling rejected by so-called religious people, or sometimes the people who think that they are righteous, they are holy, they are more than us. They don't want to share with us. They don't want to share with us a blessing or remembrance of how God good is. They don't want to share with us. And Jesus is watching it. And when Jesus is watching it, that this poor man, sick man, is left out. Did this sick man told Jesus anything? No. Friends, if you are left out today by so-called religious people, righteous people, or the people who think that their lives is much better than yours, and you are left out, don't worry. Jesus is watching. It is more important that you are in the eyes of the Lord than to be in the eyes of the people. And when Jesus watched this, he asked very trivial question. It says that Jesus asked the Pharisees, experts in the law, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day or not? Now, they did not say nothing. Why? Because they knew that answer is no, you cannot heal. But Jesus knew what he is going to do. So he was reminding them about what the law is. And then he wants to remind them that grace is bigger than the law. mercy seat was covering the 10 commandments in the tabernacle. Mercy is bigger than the law. You remember Psalmist says that your mercy and goodness will follow me all the days of my life. The word follow me is like hunt me down. The mercy and goodness of God will hunt me down. I cannot hide from God's goodness and mercy. They will hunt me down. So Jesus comes to this sick man, and he says that, so taking hold of the man, he healed him. He touched him. Nobody would touch him. He has this sickness that his face, his body was swollen up. He was in pain. He was left out. Nobody would give even a bread of the Sabbath would share with him. Jesus touched him. And then Jesus healed him and says, you go in peace. God is with you. God may touch you. God will touch you. If you feel that you are rejected, if you are left out, nobody's for you. Everybody's against you. People are taking advantage of you. Don't worry. Jesus will touch you and he will heal you. And then he asked the Pharisees, one of you had a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day. Will you not immediately pull him out? So Jesus said, yes, you will do that. You will do that. You will pull him out. Jesus is not condemning them. Jesus is reminding them, yes, you know that if your ox or child fall into the well, you will save him. And that is a good thing. You should do that. But Jesus is also reminding them at the same time that you know what is right to do, but still you are not doing it. You know you have to help people, but you are not doing it. You are so much focused on rules and regulations and laws and rituals that you are missing the mercy and grace and compassion for the people. May you remember that out of your abundance caution in following Christ, you may be so much focused in rituals, in keeping laws, that you are overlooking the people in need that is right in front of you, sitting right across the table, who needs your help, who needs a loving hand, who needs the words of kindness. That is what God is looking for. So I started with a question. Will Jesus come? Yes, Jesus will come, regardless your motive or not. Jesus knew that this Pharisee is a trap. He did went there. He wanted to provoke his inner being. Say that, guys, look at this. Look at this guy. He needs your help. Jesus would come. Now, when he comes, what you do with him, when he tell you something, that's a totally different story. But if you invite him, he will definitely come. And he will sit with you. And if you share with him, he will eat with you also. But also he will call you to walk with him, to reach out, to help out to somebody. May God bless you and thank you.